Into the realm of the PL-89, into the realm of the higher time. Into the realm of Messiah time. It is simple to sing the tune. Match the sun up with the moon. With the sun before the moon as per Psalm 72, it's true. The two calendars are one. Match the moon up with the sun. You're going to something going we're getting done. In case you're wondering about the key, I'm pretty sure that's the key of F for Friday. And that's why I was singing in such a high key. Now, the next one, the 7th, is G. That's for tomorrow. Shabbat I won't record, but 7th day, Saturday night, Saturday. So this is the PL-89 Gematriatic Quantum Thought Calendar for Friday, of course, the key of F. How could I forget? That's the whole point of it. Years ago, not too long ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I was involved in some kind of a music work. Let's put it that way. It's a school for autistic children. I don't think it might be still around, but maybe it's in a different form right now. And there was a program to help autistic children with music and puppets, and make creative puppet shows that were centered around the Talmud, teaching the Talmud. There were puppets of different rabbis of the Talmud, like Rav Huna and Rav Huna Bered Rav Yehoshua, and there was Rav Yehoshua and Rav Huna his son, I think. There's Yehoshua and Rav Huna Bered Rav Yehoshua. I think I thought that was really neat. I never saw anything like that. That they make a puppet about Rav Ashi and Ravina, and these puppets were rabbinical puppets who would teach the Talmud to autistic children in a musical way. And I thought that was just so creative and so interesting. And there were different animals that these puppets. There'd be like a shual was a fox. Would be for Thursday, and so I worked on a song, you might have seen it, called Shual Chadash by Yom Chamishi, meaning the new fox is on Thursday, and it had to do with Rabbi Akiva, the story of how he laughed when he saw the fox come out of the temple. And so imaginatively, I thought that story would have happened on a Thursday, because Rabbi Akiva is connected with Thursday, because many things about 5, like Thursday in Hebrew is Yom Chamishi, the 50th of the week, and let's just say, for example, Bava Kama, which is a tractate in the Talmud, was studied on Thursday, and is only on page Hey of Bava Kama that Rabbi Akiva's name first shows up. So stuff like that, like different little minutia, different trivia, and building upon that. So Rabbi Akiva is connected with the fox, and then what else was there? And then there was a Bobby. Bobby was a boy. Maybe I think it was a boy who had trouble wearing his yarmulke or something. And let's see what else. It's coming back to me now. Let's see here. The giraffe. There was Shore. Yeah, there was Shore. There was an ox. It was like a bull. And trying to think. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Let's see. Zemer. Was a giraffe. There was Was there a cow? Yeah, there was a cow, but we didn't. Maybe there. Yeah, there was the mu or migo mu, right? Because there's a concept in the Talmud called migo. Migo is a concept where, you, if you had the opportunity to lie to someone and you didn't, so then we believe him. So then this cow was called migo mu. Very interesting, migo mu, and so this cow could have said migo, but instead he said mu. So, see, there was Tzfardea. Was there Tzfardea? Tzipordea? I know that he mentioned Tzipordea, like it's a bird of knowledge. Tzfardea is a frog, but I don't remember. I had them all written down, but anyway, I won't be believing about it too much because it's not about that. It's about this. But the point is that in that school, in that music school for autistic children, there was developed something. This person, I'm not sure if he wants me to say his name, so I won't say his name. But he said, "Let's do a musical program where there's 7 days a week, and of course, in the classical music scale, there are 7 tones: do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Do is 8. This is really 1." And so let's do every day for, let's say, Sunday, Yom Rishon will be the key of A. Monday, the key of B. Tuesday, the key of C. And so what I did was, I thought that was a great way of organizing each day and learning music, the key for each day, based on those notes. And so I composed a song based on the song of the day that we say in davening. Like, let's say, Hayom Yom Rishon, Shabbos, there was it's Psalm 24, and then and I composed a song for each day in that key. And so Friday, of course, is going to be F because it's the 6th one, and it's Yom Shishi. It just so happens, very interesting, that Friday has the letter F and it's the key of F. I thought that was a great. Not everything is like that. Like Sunday or Yom Rishon is not A or Aleph. You could say Yom Aleph, but Yom Bet you could say B, but Yom Sheni is not that. Friday, in Hebrew it doesn't work, but in English it works. Friday is the key of F and it's Yom Shishi. Anyway, that's why I was trying to develop perfect pitch. If I try to remember that, I can't remember no, it's probably not that. But anyway, if you rewind it, you can see what key it's in. But the key of F, and try to get that vibration, that sound, and yeah. So, anyways, I went off on a big tangent about that. But just to know why I'm singing those high keys. Now, God willing, when I do this tomorrow, it's going to be even higher. But then for Sunday, it's going to go back to A again, to the lowest. So this is a lunar. Wow, I spent 8 minutes just talking about why I sang in that key, but it's all worth it because it's all part of this anyway. It's all about mathematics. It's all about order, and it's all about using mathematics and technology and logic to help bring the Mashiach, the Messiah, the Geula, the redemption, and a little bit of goofiness, a little bit of silliness. As you can see, the hat that I'm wearing is a little goofy, and this is the residue light, the residual doesn't sound so great, residual light that's shining still from Purim, and I just didn't want to let that light go. And this was my Purim costume, the sombrero. And it has its own story, its own numerical story behind that, but I won't go into that for time. But basically, this calendar, and you can rewind the song, that song has a lot of the theology of what this calendar is about. That song is really, it's based on Psalm 72, and think about it, like 72 is the sun and the moon. It talks about the sun and the moon. Yinon, Ima Shemesh Filafnei Areach Dor Dorim, Yinon Shemo, Yinon is his name, and so it's Psalm 72. But this calendar, if you look in the Kabbalistic text, like the 72-letter name of God, that's based on 3 verses in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, that are actually exactly 72 letters each. So it's 216 letters, but they're put together, and each a letter that starts, in each, they're lined up. The first verse is written forwards, the middle verse is written in reverse, and the bottom verses written forwards, and then each 3-digit is a name. Each 3-letter is for name, and if you look at the texts, they're written in exactly this format. There's 8 columns and there's 9 rows. 8 times 9 is 72, and that's another reason why this is called a PL-89. So that was not even how it started. It didn't start because of that. It came only afterwards. But 89 is connected to the planet Mercury, in that what's published is that the Mercury revolves around the sun in about 88 of our Earth days, which is just about 89 days, which is 3 months of time, which is a biblical teaching in 3 places in the Bible. I'll go through them very quickly and not elaborate on them. One is with Moses. It says in Exodus chapter 2 that his mother hid him for 3 months, which is this amount of time. It also says, going back into the time of after, it's in Genesis 38, when Judah, the whole incident with Judah and Tamar, it says that it was Vayihi kimishalosh chadashim. It was about 3 months that they saw that she was pregnant after he had the affair with her, and she was dressed up like a harlot, a woman of ill repute, or whatever you want to call it, in a not too overt way because of YouTube. But anyway, so it was about 3 months of time that she was shown to be pregnant. But who was she pregnant with? She was pregnant with the twins, who are the Peretz and Zerach, and I'm trying to remember which one was the ancestor of the Mashiach. I think it's Peretz, who would give birth to the line of, eventually would come out to King David. It would be Boaz eventually, and then King David. So you see that there's a connection of the Messiah to the 3 months, which is this time again. And I forgot to talk about Moses, that he was a redeemer also, and it was 3 months that he was hidden and then sent off to the Nile. Okay, and the third one is in the book of Chronicles and the book of Samuel, the incident of Peretz Uzzah, when King David was moving the ark from some place in Jerusalem to another place, and Uzzah touched it and he died. Long story short, King David moved the ark to someone's house by the name of Oved Edom, and it stayed there for 3 months. Same amount of time here. So, and there's a lot to speak about those 3 things, but those are 3 things that are in the Bible about 3 months, which is this calendar, and they're all messianic. They're all about the Geula, the redemption, and so. Going back to Psalm 72, this is a calendar for the 72-letter name of God, but it's also a calendar for the sun and the moon, which means it combines the Gregorian calendar, which is a solar calendar, with the with the Hebrew calendar, which is a lunar-based calendar, and they're 2 in 1. That's what the song says. The two calendars are one. Match the moon up with the sun. And Yaakov and Esav, Tikkun and Tohu, that goes into some Chabad teaching about Jacob and Esau. And Tikkun are the forces or the energies of rectification, and Tohu are the forces of chaos and creativity and raw. I think creativity is probably the best word. Sheer innovation and genius and creativity and explosive art and whatever, and creating things basically. And oftentimes you'll find, and I think you might be able to tell which forces I'm coming from, but so oftentimes if the forces of chaos and creativity, they're very, very high lights. In fact, the Alter Rebbe says in Torah Or that this is why I'm not sure if this is why Yitzchak loved Esav, but Esav comes from the Tohu, who is much, much higher than Jacob. Um, but the problem is that if it's untempered, if it's not controlled, it can turn to evil very quickly. It has to be tempered and harnessed with the forces of tikkun. Tikkun are it's like being the straight guy and not being too creative, but being consistent and foundational and steady. You need those forces to harness the chaos forces, or else it will just be mayhem. It will turn into it will cause what's referred to in the Kabbalistic terminology as shvirat hakelim, the breaking of the vessels. When such high lights come into a world where there isn't enough tikkun, enough rectification, it causes destruction, craziness, chaos, a lot of sinfulness. Forces of negativity can definitely thrive there because it's not tempered, it's not controlled by these tikkun forces that brought about the Judaism that we have today, which is like all the halachas of asur and mutter. This is allowed, this is not allowed, this is pasul, this is kosher, this is meaning this is valid, it's invalid, it's chayev or patur, is he liable or is he? All those things are within Judaism, and those things are what balance a person not to go overboard. But when you're focused too much on these tikkuns, you can only go so high. Anyway, enough about that. So these two forces are actually combined and synthesized in this one calendar here. That's why it's the PL-89 Gematriatic Quantum Plot Calendar, and it takes both calendars, the Gregorian calendar and the Hebrew calendar, and it puts them into one calendar. So I spent a lot of time on this, more time than I probably thought I would. So I'll get straight to the point. Today is March the 13th, and the 13th day of any month in this dispensation is going to be a box that's printed 5 on it. Okay, 5, and then it's March, and it's Adar. It's Adar 24. And 24 is always going to be in a box that's printed 19, which is very interesting. This is a special quality. And okay, what you do is you add the two. So the solar number is going to be March 13th. Yeah, solar number is 5, and the lunar number, the Hebrew date number, the lunar number is 19. And the process, you add them together. Of course, that makes 24. And what's interesting, and there's some numbers that are like this, that when you add the sun and the moon, it actually is the date of one of the dates. It's usually not like that. It happened recently, I can't remember what day, when you add it together, and it was that day. I think it was the 19th, actually. I think so. The 19th of maybe Adar? Maybe the 19th. Yeah, it would have to be the 19th of Adar, I think. It was where you added the Hebrew date and the English date, and it became the Hebrew date. Or either one, or becomes the English date, whichever one. So that's like today. Today you add the Hebrew number and the English number, you add them together. What does it become? It becomes the day of the Hebrew date. Today is 24 Adar, and 19 plus 5 is 24. So so then 24, once you have that number, there's a process that you can do. You turn that number to a word, back into a number, back into a word, and I'll keep it at that.